Hey everyone, yo, it's your boy Seafoam Soldier and
Cystitis.
Bob.
Yay!
Woo!
The sheer excitement.
so you guys know what's going down. We just watched episode 4 of All Stars 3 and we're here to spill for All Stars tea.
Wow.
Yep.
And the room is buzzing with excitement.
I just did a Trixie. Too soon? Too soon? Right, okay, so let's start at the top though. So it starts, is that Trixie? I'm sorry, is that RuPaul sat next to me? I thought it was. It's like she's actually here. Right, so Milk's bitter mirror. Why? What did Milk write on the mirror?
Oh, y'all know this is bogus.
Oh yeah,
Y'all know this is bogus.
that's like. What do you guys think about that?
Y'all know that Milk is not in touch with reality.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
yeah.
A little bit. He thinks is like the justice for me.
It is a bit like that, isn't it?
Okay,
I wonder how much Milk must have been aware of how it would all look before it came up, because quite early into the whole thing, Milk's Instagram was full of things like be really nice to the queens, even if you don't agree with them, like be really good to them this season. And then like a couple of episodes later, you're like, oh, I see why, Milk. I see why you said that. But so I kind of wonder if that was known by Milk before that. But I mean, it's a bit of a shitty thing, isn't it? It's like, it's that kind of thing, like, even if you have problems with the show itself, you're never going to win. I think this was Fifi's problem in All Stars 2. Like, Fifi had an issue with the editing, but instead of kind of like smiling through it and doing it kind of subtly on the side, she did this whole thing of like, the editing, I'm not turning up. And it was a bit like, Ru's still going to win. Like, Ru will always win. This is more traffic for the show. This is, so you're never really going to beat that in that sense.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like you're right. I feel like some of where Fifi was coming from had some grounding in reality.
With Fifi, I felt that more than Milk.
Yeah, exactly. But whereas Milk, I just got like, I had no idea like where she's getting anything from that she's saying.
Yeah,
she just thinks they wanted him there so much.
Yeah.
It's
just an ego thing, right?
Yeah,
which is a massive shame because I loved him in season 6.
Yeah, he was more grounded then.
But I think I said last episode, I'd be interested to see what he said about the show after watching it. If he's like more humble, if he's been humbled by what's happened.
It feels like he has been, because on the Watcher Packing, he was sort of like saying to Michelle, like, I just lost it. I
don't remember.
Oh, of course you don't.
Of course I don't. Yeah.
I was.
But when's that filmed? I'm guessing that's filmed straight afterwards.
Yeah, right? Straight after. It was like, I was just an emotional wreck and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, that's fair enough. Like, just kind of lost it, didn't he? But still, I mean, he didn't behave that badly. It's just a message in the fucking mirror.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's all move on with our life soon.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Obviously, my next thing was guest judges ? Don't know who either of these people are.
It tires me. You're like a fucking.
But you don't know who one of them is.
One of them I don't know.
Exactly.
But she's quite new in the scene, so I don't think like she's known.
Who is she?
I think she just wrote a book.
Oh, she's like an actress or something.
I'm not sure, but like she's like young in the scene, but like Kristen, I don't know how to pronounce her surname, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying. But she's a very familiar face, and she's been on RuPaul before, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I think I'd recognize her. Maybe no, I wouldn't. Let's be real.
I can't remember if she has before. I can't remember if she has before, but she's definitely known. I mean, like she's done a lot of like. She's done like a lot of big. Yeah, like was she? I feel like in my mind, both like she did some kind of big version of Let It Go from Frozen, either the original or some kind of big version that everybody else loved. And she, I think I want to say has some involvement with Wicked, but I might also be pulling that out of my ass.
Wicked in the US.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the episode.
She's theatre and she's opera trained. She's amazing.
Is she really?
Oh, she's incredibly.
That surprises me.
Incredible opera singer, as well as like just singing in general. She's great. Yeah, she was in Glee. She was in Pushing Daisies. She was in a lot of stuff.
All right, number one fan. So, Bob, do you know who the other one is?
No, I had no idea who the other one was. But I think yeah, like as our lovely Sisteritis was saying, she's kind of new on the scene. So I mean I had no idea, but from the sounds of things, like she's had some kind of TV series as well, and that seemed to have done well. But I don't know. I mean, I was kind of I was like, okay, cool. But I mean, I'm kind of also used to only knowing about one of the judges, the guest judges. I'm normally used to there being one who I'm like, I'm sure in American queer circles, this person is known, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually 0 to 1. Bob, you've got a message from Carl. So I can't pronounce his name. Carl M. Hi, Bob. What are you doing here? Sending love from York.
Oh, well, Carl McCallan. Oh, they're probably just revealing people's surnames on the. But hello, I haven't seen him in years.
You
this is the
protection.
bombed.
If that's the Carl I'm thinking. Otherwise, if there's another Carl, I apologize for mistaking you with another Carl.
Oh, it's really awkward. What if it's like Carleen, someone else?
Carleen, I'm begging on you, please don't take my man. Yeah, like,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Well, Carl.
I finally got a shout out. Yay.
He said it is. He said it is the one you said.
It is.
So
super. There we go.
Cool. Right.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Remember to subscribe. That reminds me. Everyone watching to subscribe, or I'm going to get angry and aroused. So the next note is you really don't want that.
That's a bad combo.
Tricks. Bob knows. Is I just written down. Obviously, we go into some more detail, but I've written down Trixie taking on Rue's obviously a big risk. And we obviously saw how that turned out. But
she's so confident.
Yeah, she's so confident. She's like, with Trixie, I mean, hopefully this episode's going to change things. She's got a bit of like a milk syndrome where obviously she is very popular and done very well off the show, but she knows it. Like she's not holding any punches sort of thing because of it. And it's kind of like not great to see. Because I mean, obviously Katya probably did better than Trixie by the time All Stars 2 was on. I think a lot more even now. But Katya was still super humble. Like I think you can be confident. Like I think Katya was still confident. She wasn't unsure on herself.
I don't think Trixie has been arrogant in any way.
I think she's been quite arrogant.
Really?
Yeah, even in her Meet the Queen, she's like, I'm a superstar of the show. I just need to show people who watch Drag Race the superstar I am. And like, I don't know, like all that sort of stuff.
That wasn't what she said.
I'm paraphrasing. It wasn't exactly
badly.
What she said.
That's not what she said.
Throughout the season as well, she said similar things. Like
she didn't.
In this episode, she's like, literally everyone loves my RuPaul impression. It's like, that's what she said. It's,
that's just her being confident.
But I feel like it's maybe just being confident because I think, as she obviously said later, like this was her challenge. This is the challenge that for her, I think she thought that she should win. Of the others, I could see how she would maybe think, I should do well. Like the Bachelor one, that's something definitely where she should have done well, and she did do pretty well. I think that this was the challenge. This is the one that all of her fans particularly were kind of looking at her for. Is she going to do RuPaul? Probably. Is she going to do it well? Probably. And then we saw how that turned out. But it's interesting. No, actually, I'll save that for later because it was going to be about how she did how she performed. But
we'll go for it when we get to it. It's a shame because her Anne Frank though she did for her audition tape was like a lot funnier. That's a shame. So I know she can do a good snatch game sort of thing.
I don't know. I thought it's a difficult game.
Yeah, but just going for it, but like
to tell what's going to work and what's not.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So do you think like it was good she chose RuPaul to do sort of thing, and like her confidence that came along with that? Like, so I was quite nervous as soon as that.
No, I was happy. I was kind of expecting her to choose RuPaul. And I was really excited. I thought she would do well because it is a funny impression, like with like funny puns and stuff. She always does. But
with editing.
I think that's the problem. I think it's one of those things that's really funny for like a couple of seconds and then it needs like a cutaway from the camera. Whereas Snatch Game, you can't always rely on that. Like the camera's still going to be on you. And so if you're just doing like the little head bob thing, you're kind of at risk because then people are still looking at you for like, where's the next joke? And that's not necessarily going to come.
Also, what I've just realized as well is I think a lot of the comic value of it comes from Katya's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Because like Katya loves like the stupidest stuff, and like she always finds it hysterical, and that makes it funnier for us as well. It's like if Katya sat next to her during Snatch Game, I think it would have been a million times better, even if she did exactly the same jokes.
Yeah, but then it had to be Katya as Katya laughing at Trixie.
Exactly. So it's obviously it wasn't going to happen.
Like a Trixie and Katya show.
Yeah.
There's things that work outside of Snatch Game. But Snatch Game is difficult. It's just you have to really think of a character that fits well into that setting. And that's where Ben really chose the right one.
Well, this is interesting. Like I wrote down, I literally don't know who any of these people are on Snatch Game apart from RuPaul, who I know a little bit.
Oh, good, you recognise that one.
Personal tweet from RuPaul, but never mind. But yeah, so I know you didn't know who anyone was either, really, did you? Apart from Aja's. No, you didn't know Aja's one. Who did you know?
I knew most of them.
Did you?
Okay, wait. I knew Kristen, who was there as Kristen.
That does not count.
Who was next to her?
Grace Jones was the only one.
Grace Jones.
I knew Grace Jones. No, I knew the one Ben did, Paul.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
Serious?
Once I saw it, I recognized it.
Okay.
And Maya Angelou and Angela Davis and
No idea. Bob, do you know most of them?
I knew a decent amount of them. I didn't know the one from the one that Kennedy played at all. I don't know if that really would have helped anyway, though. But I knew Aja's Crystal Beja because she was going to do that on season 9, and she chose not to. And everyone was just like Sasha, Shay, everyone was just like, do it, like it's going to be hilarious. And then she went with did she do Alyssa instead in season 9?
She did,
yeah. So Grace Jones, I was really excited to see because she's such a character, and that was I think was actually pretty decent. The was it Jennifer Day-Lewis who Shangela played? I thought was cool, and I basically only really knew because of Drag Race stuff because I began basically because of Shangela actually before then because Shangela she's in her what's the first song that Shangela released? The Professional,
is she in that?
Yeah, so she's no, is she in that? There's something I think that involves her. I think via like a kind of YouTube hole that I fell in, I kind of found Jennifer Day-Lewis via that. But anyway, Maya Angelou I thought was a really weird choice as well. Like
the weird.
Carl's saying something. Have you seen Paris is Burning, haven't you?
Yes.
So Carl's saying Aja's characters from that.
Yeah.
No, she's actually not in Paris is Burning.
Is she not?
No,
she's at least linked to it because the House of La Beija is the whole.
Yeah, there's Pepper La Beija and a lot of people from the La Beija house shown on Paris is Burning, but Crystal is not there. And actually, Aja said, I think what I heard is she was going to do someone that was in Paris is Burning, but it wasn't Crystal La Beija. It was the one who got murdered.
Spoiler! I need to watch this thing.
Yeah. What's her name? God damn it! It was just.
But she was going to do the catch she did this episode on season 9. Bob's right.
What?
What character? What's the name of the character? Crystal
La Beija.
Crystal La Beija. Yeah.
She was going to do that season 9.
Yeah, but after, as well, she said she. No, I swear she said someone else.
No, because she said we just watched a deleted scene where she said I was going to do season 9, but then I decided not to last minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so yeah,
I swear she had mentioned that she was going to do this one that says that reads like you look like an overgrown orangutan.
Oh, maybe she's a couple of
yeah. You're right. I know exactly what you're talking. Yeah, she was definitely going to do
the blonde one got murdered.
Okay.
But anyways.
Okay. I wrote down Trixie's getting a lot of confessional time, which made me nervous.
Yeah, that made me nervous as well. I was like, oh shit. She's either gonna do really well or she's gonna
bomb.
Yeah.
Okay, should we get into one of the key discussion points today? Never mind, maybe not. So break.
Sorry.
So 10-minute nap.
Go on.
The note gate.
Oh god.
Note gate.
Yeah.
Bob, do you want to start with your thoughts?
I mean, I totally see why Shangela would be a bit annoyed by it. I mean, obviously, I feel like it's played up for TV purposes as well, but I did think Shangela's whole like Nancy Drew thing was a little bit like overplayed here. It's like, come on now. Like, I get it's a tense competition. You'd feel a bit shitty about it. But there was a lot of that. I don't know. I'm a bit torn. I definitely, I think if I saw it, I'd feel a bit shitty. But I do think like, it's like, come on, Shangela, like you're a bigger person than to just kind of turn it into this whole like spectacle. But I don't know. It's her feelings, I guess.
I agree, but the thing that pissed me off is that it was just inconsiderate. Like she didn't take how it might affect Shangela into consideration by putting it up. I don't think it was a purposeful attack. But
I think she thought it was funny. Like it was a funny thing. That's all that she thought.
But she didn't say that though.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. One of the fucking cameramen came up to Shangela and it was like, you should see it was there. Like, go up to it and react. And then, Shangela loves it, obviously. Yeah. She might even be a bit upset about it, but she milks it. That's what she's there to bring.
Yeah.
The drama. And Trixie, I think Trixie just was a bit shocked that she was reacting so upset about it, because I think in Trixie's mind that was just like a read, like that was just like shade between drag queens, and at least that's what I like. That would be my justification for like leaving that up. Like, lol, look at what she said. Like,
but then Trixie didn't say that though.
Yeah, but I think she was just shocked that she was behaving like that. But
maybe, but then she would have said it like when on a one-on-one conversation, no?
Yeah, maybe.
But my thing was, she said her justification was like she liked 4G and she like the note was positive for her. But the note literally just said cocktails ? Shanji's a bitch, pretty much. It's like, what are you getting from the note? All you're getting from the note is that Shanji's a bitch. Like, there's nothing positive in the note. It's not like, oh, I love your drag, you're so great. Oh, but be wary of Shanji, wink. It's like cocktails ? Shangela's a bitch. 4GX, right?
Yeah, I think I feel like it's maybe as well because it was Thorgy. Like if it had been Chi-Chi like going out and saying that, you'd be kind of like, oh, Chi-Chi, such a sweetheart, it's okay. But I think because Thorgy left in quite a bitter way, it's quite hard to take that note as being like as lighthearted as it might have been intended, because it just kind of comes with that bitterness, really.
Yeah. Also, I don't think 4G is aware of the way she comes across, though, as well. Like, she does come across as very, like, bitter.
Yeah,
generally.
She thinks she's being, like...
lighthearted and jovial. And...
Yeah, like, with the Bob stuff, it was the same thing. She was like, no, but, like, we love each other, but I hate her to her face and blah, blah.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, you come across like you really envy.
Yeah. Did you see, Bob, Lee Dawson's recap of episode 2?
I did indeed, yes.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really funny. He does the whole thing. It's like
don't tell me.
It's not a spoiler for the recap. Okay. 4G's rigged race or something like that. And it's like it's like Bob hosting it, and like during the video cutouts, like where like Ru does like she already had hers. It's like it's just Bob like winning the crown, and 4G's just like watching, looking really sad. It's really funny.
It is really good. But, I think it's quite fun. Oh, sorry, yeah. It's quite fun as well, just for the he does this really genius thing. Just watch it anyway. But like he does this genius thing where like, because Thorgy had that whole line about you don't see like you don't see gay men in the front row of like a Stevie Nicks concert being like and then he just like he puts like Thorgy doing that in front of Thorgy performing as Stevie Nicks, and it's actually incredible.
Yeah,
it's a golden moment.
Really good. I thought you'd seen it. We'll watch it afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we've gone through Notegate.
Notegate was a sham.
It was a sham. Interesting.
It's a sham. Just a fucking sham. For me, like
I agree with what everyone said.
Oh.
I think it's overreaction. But I can see why she was. I think I agree with me in that it's inconsiderate of Trixie to do that. But I think it's a massive overreaction of Shangela. And obviously, the producer said, "Go check out what's over there."
And overreact.
Yeah.
It's like it's just going a bit ham.
I wonder what 4G said about this. Like, if she watched it, she must have watched the episode and tweeted something about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Team Trixie?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so let us know in the comments down below. You Team Trixie or Team Shangela in Notegate. Exactly. Cool. So on to the actual challenge. This episode was so fast.
Oh my god! It was so,
It was
It really
a lot
was.
to take in. Like I felt like I didn't get time to digest anything, and I
nothing.
felt like the episode was like halfway through when it ended.
Yeah.
It was like there wasn't even like, ooh, girl, she don't have the head.
Yeah, there was no
It's
video.
like,
Yeah.
oh, RuPaul is here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's what I found kind of strange actually, because I was watching it with Wow Presents Plus. Get it for $3.99. No, and I don't know why I'm not being paid by them. I should.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no,
Is it good? Is it other content good?
I mean, I've not really tried it out. That's the thing. I've kind of like I've not really made the most of it so far. I'm sure there's some good stuff on there. Maybe, who knows? But well, I should know apparently. But the what's interesting is I think sometimes the episodes might be like a couple of minutes longer on that, or at least from what I see, because they sometimes seem to be like, you know, there'll be like 59-minute episodes or something, and other people seem to have some kind of thing that's like 40 or 50, closer to 50. And this one was exactly 40 minutes pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and yeah, I mean, obviously with Snatch Game, you normally get that thing where you don't know who a couple of queens are going to be until you see them performing, and that's fine. That's normal and part of the game. But then it did feel like it was basically like Rue talking to who did he talk to? Talking to BB, and then talking to one other person, maybe Shangela. Yeah, and then being like, okay, challenge, and you're like, hang on. I mean, there's normally meant to be at least one person breaking down and being like, oh no, I chose completely the wrong person, or
yeah,
you know,
exactly. I missed that.
It was
And
nothing. It was just
yeah.
Like it's on VH1 now. Like give them an extra half an hour, you know? Because I mean, it's weird they give like the first episode or two sometimes of a season like an hour and a half, which equals an hour of actual time.
Yeah.
But it's weird. So how come I can do it for like one or two, but I can't do it for the full season? When it obviously needs it. Like it wasn't. It would have been so much better if it had a bit more time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It was just
I agree.
rushed. Like, I mean, we haven't got to that yet, but like the runway
Oh, it
was
pisses
like,
me off so much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we only really got one or two responses from most queens in Snatch Game, which is, I mean, obviously, they have to cut for time, but we had so few queens on this one compared to
Very good point.
regular Snatch Game. And so it was a bit like, because, you know, I remember, like, and normally they upload all the extras on VH1 afterwards, or Logo, whichever one, I can't remember. But for this, I was just a bit like, oh, like, I saw Grace Jones talking about having a steel vagina and asking Rue about like whether they could fuck, but that was that second part was already in the trailer, the ad break part, really, or the coming up next. So I was a bit like, well, we didn't really get to see much from a lot of these queens, and so it's actually quite hard to judge, I think, sometimes who was actually doing well, because you don't know how many jokes Trixie made that didn't land, or how many things Kennedy did that didn't quite land.
I think the way it edited Trixie, like I think they would have used everything she said, because like it obviously, like she got a lot of time and just nothing landed. So we talk about the end, because
Sure.
You're totally right, because I was confused by some of the choices again this week, less so than last week, about like tops and bottoms and safes and stuff, based on what we saw. But I think that's a very good point. Like I'm sure we didn't see everything. But yeah, should we move on to the actual challenge? So I said, okay, my first note was, it was nice to see Ben do something different, because normally he relies on like old lady characters, or you know, that sort of like a stiff upper lip sort of vibe.
well, it's so camp. He's mainly just camp.
But I've never seen him do a character like this before.
Okay.
Really, right?
Yeah, he looks very different.
Not just physically, but the way he acted as well.
Yeah.
I think it was really refreshing to see.
Okay.
That's my first note.
I think yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of camp to it. Like, it's still very Ben, but it's a different angle for Ben, which I think is quite nice. And I mean, it's a character that I forgot to mention this earlier. I didn't know who that character was, but kind of like with Little Lady by Jinx in season 5, like I didn't know who that was before Snatch Game, and by the end of Snatch Game, I felt like I did. And the same with this. Like about 5 seconds into Ben talking, I was like, I think I know who this person is, and they are incredible. And Ben
was it like looking in the mirror?
I mean, absolutely, of course. I am Paul Lynde.
You can know who this character is.
To be fair, I only know that character because there was an impression of him on SNL.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
Yes, you
But hey, it was a great impression, by the way.
Like,
but you know what? Like Ben, he was up there with it. It was very good. Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
show you that clip by the way.
Okay. Actually, so I've written a few notes, but again, it's so fast. I didn't really get tons down. Should we just go through everyone's performances? I guess
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's probably easier, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Ben is Ben.
so anyways, yeah. Any other thoughts on Ben? Anyone?
No, I think he did really well, and he
Mhm.
chose a perfect character for it because that's what that guy was known for, being on
It's
in
very
that
smart.
exact show. Like it's very smart choice and very well executed.
Yeah.
Go on, Bob.
Oh, no, I totally agree. Like, just I think there was a lot of interactions with both the other queens and the judges, which was really important because that kind. Oh, sorry, the the panelists, but they're
Yeah.
Carson and Michelle. But I thought that was really cleverly done because it was constant. There was never a moment where like that slipped, and that was genius.
Yeah, well, that sort of brings on to my point. I think what I realised this Snatch game is, I think one of the main parts of the art is knowing when to interject. Like, I mean, you don't just talk when you're asked a question by RuPaul. You're supposed to interject throughout.
Yeah.
And Ben did that at all the right times. It felt natural. It was funny, added to things.
Yeah.
I think that's really tricky to get right. And I think Ben
Yeah.
did great in how right he got it, you know?
Absolutely.
I was just really impressed. Okay, so the other big one, I guess we'll go from left to right, top to bottom. So Trixie.
I think it started off quite well, and actually there's an extra clip that I saw somewhere of where I'm not sure if every queen did it, but there's a clip of Trixie as RuPaul introducing them herself, so separate from the actual game show part, but basically almost like just before, like, introduce yourselves, I'm RuPaul, blah blah blah, kind of thing.
She did that. She stood, but on the episode we just watched, she stood up and introduced herself, like, and she's the only one who did that.
A separate thing of that from that. So like, as in, no other queens are with her. It's just her kind of and the camera kind of thing. Kind of almost like a little confessional, but it was actually genius and it was really funny and it was the RuPaul impression that we know and love. But then there it kind of fell a bit flat. Like the winner chicken dinner line, I've kept on feeling like I was missing something from that. Like, was there a pun in there that I missed, or was it just because it just didn't quite land for me because I didn't quite know what was being aimed for, whether it was a kind of dad joke thing that Trixie had mentioned about going for, or whether it was some kind of reference to something else.
I think the joke was like, I think the joke was, in retrospect, that you can say anything and make it funny if you say it in the way RuPaul says it.
She was hoping for the delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I was basically saying, like, you know, it's ridiculous, like stuff Ru can say and get away with sort of thing. I think that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe when she paused in between, it was like, I need to think of a funny thing to say and I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know really. But I think my main issue with her performance is like the thing that Ben did, so the opposite to what Ben did so well, is that she kept interjecting at really awkward points. And it just was really forced and not funny.
It's just like it's just not the setting to have RuPaul like they're judging. Do you know what I mean? Like it'd have to be like RuPaul in a game show. So, and she played it as RuPaul in the runway judging.
That's a really good point.
That is a really good point, actually. Yes. You're getting my talent this episode. That was great.
But I think that's why it felt flat, because it wasn't the right setting. I mean, if she somehow could play RuPaul in a game show setting, then maybe the puns would work. But yeah, it was just it just seemed completely out of place.
Right.
Yeah,
I think because when we get those like little moments from Trixie, I mean, so for example, one of my favorite RuPaul imitations from Trixie, because I have many, is when Trixie and Katia did the fashion photo review of Raja and Raven, and there's this moment where I can't do the voice as well as Trixie, but they're like, Raven, your denim was den, and that kind of judging part works perfectly for fashion photo review, because that's exactly the same kind of format. But I think actually, absolutely, as you said, Ru on the judging the runway is quite a difficult role to keep playing, because it's funny, but it doesn't move much, it doesn't do much, it's very one note in many ways.
And I suppose in the same way, like, there's more content to work with in situations like that, like the topics they have to talk about in and like the fashion photo review, like there's a lot to make like stupid jokes out of. But whereas like the questions are given in Snatch Game are always like ridiculous, and if they're already ridiculous in the first place, like it's difficult to make a ridiculous pun out of something that's already ridiculous. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's just harder to work with as well.
It just, I think it just showcases how hard Snatch Game really is. Like, it can be great at a certain impression, but it's not just that. There's a lot to like. There's a lot more to it than just impersonating someone really well.
This is the thing I was thinking as well. Like, I know, like, we're not going to go to her as one of the queens, but Kristen, like, I think like her use of props and stuff was really clever. Like, she actually, it seemed like, I don't know whether she's told what to do by the producers, given answers or whatever,
she was
but
prepared.
even if she was, like, the way she approached it is like textbook how you should approach a Snatch Game. Like, the answers she gave, I don't think she was hilarious or anything, but like with the props and stuff, like you just need enough to pull you through. You have to rely on certain things, like rely on aspects of the character, rely on like whatever it is, like to get you through. She only had like 2 or 3 moments to shine.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't just like
hard.
Yeah.
And isn't that interesting when Kristen Chenoweth, a guest judge who is not a drag queen, who, I mean, admittedly has a background in acting and in being on the stage, but basically outdoes Kennedy, who's won a Snatch Game before. Like, isn't that kind of like, I found that quite painful in some ways to watch, just being like, Kristen is outdoing like seasoned queens who really should know better because they've done it before, apart from Trixie and BB. But yeah, like, I was super surprised by that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she's next, but let's move on. Let's move on to Kennedy. It seems like a natural segue, you know.
Oh, well done.
You're welcome.
I think she was next actually, but
say again.
I think she was next, so actually it's quite a good transition. It works perfectly. I mean, I didn't know who the original character was. I don't think it mattered because it wasn't funny. Like it kind of felt like, I mean, I was super confused because I think in the workroom, Kennedy had mentioned how you have this really funny contrast between this really like very religious, very like help the children kind of, or in Kennedy's words, touch the children kind of thing, and then you have this like this kind of slightly like crazy cougar alter ego almost. And so I was expecting this really fun duality of like it flipping midway through an answer or midway through the show itself. But I was like super lost by who Kennedy was for most of that. Like there was this like weird kind of praise the Lord, like basically could be any generic church lady. And then like some kind of church lady on some kind of rum afterwards. I didn't quite understand what was happening. Really.
Yeah,
I don't think Kennedy did.
So confused. But I think again, like I suppose it goes back to what I was saying before. Then, like she did, I think with Little Richard, she had like set things she relied on. She relied on like the "ooh, shut up" thing, and she relied on like
shut up.
Yeah. I just forgot how she did it for a second. That's why I didn't do it. That's it. Yeah. And then she had like lipstick she was doing at one point, right? Like looking in the mirror. She had that like little prop she relied on or something. Like I think you had to have like set things.
Yeah.
And she did. She had like the reveal, right, where she changed outfit. But again, when a reveal has never worked on Snatch Game, like
apart from Bob.
It has
Bob's the only one.
Oh, I suppose so. But then that's 2 characters as opposed to a reveal that's more changing characters, right?
Yeah,
and I think that was very cleverly, but like, that's such a risk. Sorry, I just completely cut you off.
No, I was just saying, I was so like who is this person? Like that, this person doesn't represent anything to me. Like as you said, there was like generic church lady and then a generic whole.
What I was thinking while we were chatting is that. Like that's the thing. Like, it's frustrating as someone like who's not American. I feel like it'd be nicer if celebrities were more universal. Obviously, I don't know anyone, so I'm not putting that on them. But I feel like no one outside of America is going to know who this Desperate Housewife is necessarily. But I feel like it's not even that important. So, for example, I was just thinking of Pearl's performance as the mob wife. So obviously, that's like another very niche reality show, but it was just still like just really funny.
Yeah,
right.
If you're gonna pick someone who's like not super universally known, like super famous, then it's gotta be someone that's gonna pop out of the screen. Like, like,
why has no one done Wendy Williams yet?
Oh no, hasn't someone done?
I think someone has.
Have they? Maybe in an old season.
Oh yeah. Thingy.
Was that Dita?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Diva.
Yeah, Dita Ritz.
Yeah.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, Diva.
Oh, I haven't seen season 4 in a while. Oh, okay, fair dues.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to say about Kennedy?
Go home. Okay.
Go home.
Okay. So well last week. It's fucking. Oh, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Screens. Inconsistent.
That's what I said last episode as well. It's a bit frustrating. I had like 4 acting challenges roughly in a row, or like personality type challenges. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
it's difficult to stay on top of your game. So, say, example, she was great last week. Unless you're Ben, who's done amazingly well, it's difficult to stay. But that's like his main strength is this acting. That's why I felt bad for Chi-Chi, is because like this whole acting personality thing is not her gig, and every single episode so far has been an aspect of that. Like the next episode that's coming up, a design creation challenge, according to the little preview thing. Like that's more Chi-Chi's jam. So it's a shame that that episode wasn't like earlier on.
Let's be
my
honest,
opinion.
her looks haven't been the best either.
What? Okay, let's go. We'll say that for later.
Apart
then.
from last week's, which I really loved.
I love this week's as well. We'll talk about it later. So who's next on the panel?
Me.
That would have been Ben. Yeah, so Ben was next.
Well, so he talks about Ben. Sorry. So yeah. Well, no, didn't it go? Wait. So who was first?
So Trixie, Kennedy, Ben. Then who's on the end?
Actually.
Maya.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you spell Maya?
Maya.
Did she put the A in there? 'Cause I saw an A there.
Afterwards.
Yeah, so she just did MYA.
I knew. I saw it initially. That's what I thought. But then I saw like a zoom in, and I saw like a little A in between. So she added that in afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I have a donut?
Yeah, of course. I don't know who this person is, but the look was cool.
I was super surprised. Like, if you're gonna do someone like Maya Angelou, I mean, who is, and she was an incredible figure. She was, a writer, a poet. You've got so much to kind of go on in terms of her like personality as like a performer, but also she's quite a hard one to crack because you need to. How do you make someone like Maya Angelou, who, I mean, she can be very funny, but she's very wise and very poised. How do you make her funny? And that's what I was so surprised to see that as an option. And I think,
especially for Chi-Chi.
Yeah, I think that is. I mean, I'm trying to think who could have handled that really well. Someone like Bob, the drag queen, could have probably handled her really well. But even then, that would have been a challenge. Like that's tricky, I think. And I was super surprised to even see her as an option, never mind for Chi-Chi. And I mean, that's the thing, Chi-Chi in her season did, who was it? Eartha Kitt, and was actually pretty funny, I thought, because she kind of took the idea of Catwoman to an extreme of just being like an actual human cat who like is playing with yarn and like purrs and makes sexual references.
Yeah.
And that was really funny. And so I thought Chi-Chi was actually going to go for something similar again. And so when I first saw Maya Angelou, I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. Maybe it'll play out like Eartha Kitt. But no, like that was weird.
But like Chi-Chi's biggest weakness is being slow. Like everyone knows how much I love her, but like she must know she's not quick-witted. And I feel like even just based on that alone, it means that was like the hardest character she could have gone with potentially. To play someone like that, you need to be really sharp and really, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
You need so much research to play someone like Maya Angelou. Yeah. The fact that she didn't even know how to write her name makes me think, what? Yeah. Like,
did you Google her?
Did you even know who she is?
Yeah. The look was. I don't know what she looks like, but the look was really cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. The look was pretty on it, and I think actually Alaska mentioned it in the pit stop thing really, really well, which was just like it's the classic example of thinking, oh, I know how to do this person's look, but not necessarily much about them as a character. Because if you've done your homework really cleverly with someone like Maya Angelou, you would know to expect that Ru's going to ask a kind of off the wall question about like, why does the cage bird sing? Or, because that, one of her most famous novels is autobiographies actually is I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. You're going to have a question about that. That is,
definitely.
You need to be completely ready for that. And I think I was just super surprised to see Chi-Chi kind of do. I was like, come on, Chi-Chi, like, I think playing like a very well-known figure who is maybe even not that funny, but could have been a really good choice. even still, but just having Maya Angelou and not knowing much about her, and it's a tough stretch for anyone, really.
I've got two things to say. One, first of all, hi Ward, thanks for coming back. Second one is, I feel like no matter who Chi-Chi chose, even if it's someone who would have suited her a lot better, she just seemed completely defeated by this point in the competition anyway. So I think maybe she just could have even thought, like, I can like nail this look. I'm going to be shit whatever I do. So let's just at least get the look right, sort of thing.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, but in All Stars, you can't, like, if you're in, you know, if you're in a season and you know that there are going to be some very weak people, you could be safe with what she did with Maya Angelou. But it's All Stars, and you've got like Ben and Trixie, who you would assume would do well. You've got two people who've already won Snatch Game in that group. You've got a couple of queens who are going to be hungry for it and who are going to do an incredible job. You've got Shangela there, who you can always kind of count on to do something pretty decent. And yeah, like you,
It was just a crazy choice. I did not. Chi-Chi made some choices this season.
Yeah,
and I love her, but it's just like
her attitude wasn't there overall, which is a shame. So yeah, who's next?
Shangela would be next on the bottom left, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, I had quite mixed feelings about it, because I thought actually in terms of character, like playing a character, it wasn't that big a stretch for Shangela, as in like Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Day-Lewis? Am I getting that name completely wrong? Am I imagining that name? Whoever.
Davis, no?
Was it Angela Davis? Whoever she was, because I think the person who I think it is someone who's quite a close confidant of Shangela. They know each other very well, and it was a very good characterization of her. But actually, Shangela and that character are not too different, but I still thought it was clever. And what I think for me picked up Shangela and put her into that top two was just the amount of like to and fro she had with other queens, because that like completely for me rose her right to the top, because I was like, actually that's quite genius. There were a couple, you know, she had a really good put down. I can't remember exactly what it was. And Maya Angelou, when Chi-Chi as Maya Angelou said something, there was a really wisecrack that came, like a really good wisecrack that came immediately from Shangela that was actually pretty good. And so I think Shangela was in her element there a bit more. Like it was very, very a character she knew how to play well, and a character that would allow her to still kind of do Shangela-isms very cleverly, like very well. Like she could fight back, she could have those arguments with other characters.
Yeah, it's like you said. I think similar to Ben in that like the quips were just natural.
Yeah,
nothing felt forced. The only thing I was thinking about the performance, again, like I think it was good overall, but I just expected more from Shangela. So similar to my critique for her last episode, like I think some of like her set answers weren't particularly funny. Like the menopause thing, and she's just like, there ain't no men in my pools or something like that. I was like, what? It's like, it doesn't like, it's not great.
No, she didn't say that. She said there's no men been up. Some.
It wasn't that funny, I didn't think.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty decent, and I thought it fit the character actually really well, because at least who I think it is. I think I'm now really wondering if I've got the right person here. At least who I think it is very good at those kind of very dramatic like one-liners of kind of being like, don't know why they call it this, ain't no men in it, and then kind of like moving on like done. And so I thought that was clever, but then at the same time, I mean, yeah, I didn't think the written answers were as funny, but I think she then made the most of it. I still think, for example, Ben was better than her for this in this challenge, but I think Shangela definitely held her own and was, I think, definitely top two. Well, definitely second for me. Yeah,
I thought I was actually quite impressed. Because I remember her first Snatch Game and it wasn't that great. It was a bit over the top Tina Turner, like, and just like she said hallelujah. And
yeah.
Like,
classic Tina.
This one, if it is the person who I think
Jennifer Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis, god damn it. I thought the voice was actually pretty good. Like little laugh, like huh, like yeah. That was like I thought it was. At least there was a little bit more of a separation.
Characterization.
Yeah. I thought she did well. And she, as you said, like, it worked in the Snatch Game because she was, like, giving these, like, funny comebacks quite naturally. Right.
And that's exactly who the character is. Like, the character, if she were in Snatch Game, would be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was really clever. Is like she would not sit by the sidelines and let someone else answer. She'd be like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm gonna come back and say something." You know,
Yeah.
she's
Okay.
Jasmine Masters and she has something to say.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's philosophy.
It is who
Show
I thought
me.
it was. Jenny.
Oh, I do know her.
That's
Okay.
not Michelle Obama.
It's Michelle Obama. I recognise her anywhere. Who's next?
BB as Grace Jones.
Mm,
Do you not like it?
I felt like
I
it was
really liked
overhyped.
it.
I feel like this is something I guess we talk about now.
Wait, that's not BB next. It was Aja next, but we'll do Aja later.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
BB first,
Yes.
we'll on her.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll do BB as well on her. Like I feel like she's getting a free pass this series. Like I just didn't think it was as great as everyone as like Rue seemed to think it was. Like reacted to it. Did anyone think it was like outstanding?
They
I
didn't
don't
react
think
that
that-
well to the still vagina thing, though.
I suppose, but like the beginning joke and everything, and it just seemed like super rehearsed, but like and didn't really pay off.
Okay.
What
I
did you
quite
say?
liked it, but I mean, for me, like I definitely thought like it was like Ben and Shangela with not like a great deal between them, and then like third place would BB a bit lower down. Like I would have had to definitely still in the top 3. That for me made total sense.
Well, Grace Jones.
Yeah, I think BB as Grace Jones was like a good solid third, just because I think there are a lot of other queens who I don't think lived up to what they could have done there. So I mean, for me, it was kind of like, you know, like Ben and
I
Shangela
don't
right up
agree.
here, a bit third down, maybe like some room here for Aja, and then kind of for me, like the rest of the pack kind of fell.
I
a
thought
bit
Aja did
underneath it.
better.
I think Arja definitely did better.
But-
That's what I mean. We talk about it, I guess when we shoot like go through who won and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I was just I don't know. I think like Ward said, like I just didn't laugh once at any of Grace Jones's things.
Yeah,
Right?
I might
Like,
have just been, I might be just be biased because I was really excited to see Grace Jones being done, and actually couldn't believe that she hadn't been done before.
Yeah.
Because she's such an outrageous figure who should have been in Snatch Game in like season 2 or 3. So
I was hoping that she would be a bit more, like, go a bit surreal with it, like Katya went with Bjork.
exactly.
Because-
She could take it. She needs to take it to at least one more step up.
Yeah, because Grace Jones, she is like quite like out there.
Yeah.
Like thinking while performing, kind of.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I thought she could have gone with not so just like sexual jokes, but also like just like bit crazy, like surreal kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was left with blue balls there.
Well, I suppose it's a similar for me. It's a similar criticism to Chi-Chi, and that like I think we've gathered from last few episodes that like these sort of acting comedy challenges aren't BB's forte. In the same way they're not for Chi-Chi, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the difference is Chi-Chi's being absolutely slated for them, whereas BB's getting a free pass. That's how I feel.
I don't think BB did as badly as Chi-Chi in any way.
I
BB has
disagree. I think because Chi-Chi had a couple of funny things towards the end. She started off horrifically, totally agree. But like a couple of her things were like vaguely amusing. I remember people laughing towards the end of Snatch Game.
But BB had some funny things as well.
She-
She was more consistent.
No, other way around. Like, they're just the same opposite trajectories. BB started off strong, according to some people, but then she had like the steel vagina thing, which wasn't good, and like some duds. And it's also she got quite aggressive at one point. I can't remember who she said. She's like, told someone behind her to shut up or something like
she
that.
told Trixie to, yeah. She's
That's
like,
what I
"Oh,
mean.
shut
Like,
up,
that's what I mean.
RuPaul."
Like she'd obviously lost it by that point. Like she just, I don't know. She got a bit nasty. And I just feel like for me, I don't think she did any better than Chi-Chi. A controversial opinion, but that's why I do this show. You know.
It's interesting. I think
Send in the letters.
Yeah.
there is a lot to be said about the free pass thing with BB, because there've been a few times where I'm like, okay, like BB didn't wow me. Like she's great. I could watch BB for hours, but like there still wasn't in a lot of the challenges before. I like the Bachelor, for example. I still think like middle of the pack was still okay, but I kind of wanted to hear what the critiques would have been of BB, because I think there was still like, and especially with All Stars when the level, you know, when the level of expectation is set so high, in a regular season, a non All Star season, BB doing that would have been, you know, in a good place and, you know, could still have been safe. But on All Stars, it's one of that would start to push you towards the lower part. I think definitely.
Yeah, Ward's sort of saying what I was about to say. Like he's saying she was too prepared because she used a steel vagina. I didn't expect to have the question with the balls, for example. But like that's what I was going to say about The Bachelor, as you said, Bob. Like both these challenges were the same for me in terms of her performance, where she was obviously super prepared and it worked out for the beginning of it, but because it lasted longer than 30 seconds, she just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
That's my like review of her
Mm.
performances for the last couple of episodes, personally.
It's there's something to be said about the theory about her being like a
Fear of everything.
what's it called, like a
mole.
like a spy. She's not really competing.
Mhm.
But as I said,
I've heard this theory.
yeah, but that's part. I know, yeah. But this is part of why I'm thinking it. Like, am I the only one that is thinking she's getting a free pass, or like?
Oh no, I think she's definitely getting free passes.
Yeah, like, or like, I know we talked about this already in the previous stream, but like, what was that? The Divas Challenge? Who was she again in that?
Diana Ross.
Diana Ross. It's like she got so much praise for that, and she did literally nothing. Like, way less than some of the other queens, and it's just like, how is this? Doesn't seem realistic to me. But then I feel like no one else. I feel like I haven't really heard many other people agree with me on that. Everyone's like completely in love with her.
That's the thing. I think, I mean, looks wise, like BB's always going to be killing it. Like she's just, I don't think she can really put much of a foot wrong when it comes to looks. But I think definitely with The Bachelor, I was a bit like a little bit off, but okay, like passable. I mean the challenge. What was the first challenge? The talent show. I thought like she deserved to be in the top 3 for that.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
But then, like, I think ever since I've kind of been a bit like, I guess it's difficult as well because there's so much we don't see in terms of like all the judges' critiques and whatever. And I'd kind of like to see what they would say about her, because I do feel like on a few occasions, like, you know, yeah, like you were saying, Chi-Chi's been bottom, and I didn't necessarily see a great deal of space between what was happening there and what was happening with BB. On this one, I'd still put BB like in a decent position. I think she was like, choosing someone like Grace Jones, like you kind of are allowed those outrageous moments, like the steel vagina or the whatever. But I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's interesting. Carl's saying that this episode almost made it clear in my mind that the theory must be true. That's sort of what I'm leaning towards. I didn't buy the theory at all whatsoever, but it's just like as the series is going on, it's making it seem more viable to me. Personally.
Yeah, I think so. Just because there's so much that we don't see about BB being critiqued, and I think that's what's kind of missing, is like if we were seeing them pull her up on things, then you'd be like, okay, like maybe it's not true, like, you know, they're still giving her an edit that allows her to be seen this way. But like instead it's just kind of like, oh no, yeah, BB, you're through. It's kind of like, you know, it's almost like, you know, with Kennedy with the like choosing milk without having to talk to anyone. I kind of feel like it's a bit like Ru kind of doing that, like, oh yeah, so before we do tops and bottoms, BB, you're safe. And yeah, it does kind of feel a little bit like that. But
it could be true. That would have been that would be the crack of the century of the crack.
I think I'd be a bit pissed off by it. But, yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah. I would be, yeah.
Well, it depends on why was she there. I mean, it could bring some drama and some.
No, I like that idea, but I feel like she's not on the same level as some of the other winners. So maybe Alaska's not a great example, but I use Alaska. Like if Alaska was there, it'd be super weird, and like she has so many tiers above 90% of the other queens that it would make sense to me. Whereas BB, she seems far more on the same level as the other queens at best, to be fair, for some of the challenges. So for her to be like, no, like I was never actually competing, I'm going to tell you guys what to do or whatever, like that would be off, I think, personally.
Do you reckon it's maybe also that she's playing it down so as the kind of, because if she kept on, for example, winning, do you reckon that would maybe draw more attention?
Like you can just tell it's too awkward, like some of the stuff she's getting wrong. I said like in this challenge where she just told someone behind her to shut up, whatever it was she said, like it was just like she wouldn't take it that far. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
We shall
see. But we spent a lot of time talking about BB, so let's go on to our Arja Queen.
Arja Queen, I thought she looked great, and I thought she did really well. Yeah, I thought like she was the best for me. I thought she didn't get enough like camera time, but like the camera time that she got, she was in full character all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Even in the wide shots, like I said, not necessarily loads of focus camera time, but you saw in the wide shots a lot. And like one of the judges said, like her like permanent stank face or whatever. Like,
yeah,
good, just like entertaining. Again, it's just what we talked about before. Like you don't necessarily need to know the character for it to be entertaining. Exactly. I don't know who this person is, but it was still fun. I was always like looking for Arja.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I'm really impressed by Aja this season because I have to admit I didn't have the highest expectations before All Stars 3 because I kind of thought, you know, she's so new off her own season. She'd kind of been really middle of the pack in season 9, and then she's kind of doing a lot better. Like there's a lot that's happening with Aja that I'm like, actually, yeah, that's kind of what you should have been doing last season. And I was super happy to see her doing this for Snatch Game because I just thought like. I mean, it was kind of a missed opportunity from season 9, and this is actually I thought played really well to her strengths. Like she's very good at giving those ridiculous faces. Her responses still felt very in character because the character was pretty much done with everything that was happening, and that's exactly how I think how I personally feel like that character would have taken to Snatch Game. So I think it was quite clever.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I feel like we've gone for everyone, right?
Yeah, I think that's everyone.
I only got two things left to say there, and I think the most important thing to talk about is I feel like this is one of the worst Snatch Games ever.
Yeah, I agree.
It's super. I actually felt like ill watching it at points because I felt so uncomfortable. Like I handled cringy stuff really bad, and like I was cringing so hard. It was hurting.
It was
What I think was quite interesting for me is like independent of like, so I hadn't asked any, like a couple of my friends about Snatch Game, but a couple of people messaged me and just being like, oh my God, have you seen it? And pretty much one of the first things both of them said, and maybe a couple of other people said really quickly and really early on was just like, oh my God, worst Snatch Game ever. And I was like, I kind of have to agree. Like, I mean, obviously there's a very high bar from a lot of the other Snatch Games, and Snatch Game for All Stars 2 was pretty great. And at least you had a lot of big standout moments. Whereas I feel like aside from Ben and Shangela, and maybe like the odd joke here and there from other people.
No, I would say just Ben. I'd say even Shangela's as such. I think Shangela was good, but she wasn't like great. Like Ben was the only one who had any great moments at all.
Yeah.
Season 4 Snatch Game was probably the worst because it was a fuckery.
Yeah.
But there was some like because Sharon Needles was doing Michelle as well, which was really good. And there was someone else.
I think that was overhyped.
Really
and Chad was there as well. Yeah, Chad was good in them.
Yeah, there was some like proper good stuff I thought, but still, I thought that Snatch Game with Beyonce farting and like FIFA doing Lady Gaga, it was just Latrice summed it up the best, like the level of unprofessional. That was just gross. Like this is just like it's just not that funny.
I think that's the thing because season 4, like you had high highs and very low lows for that Snatch Game, and so as a result, it's memorable. Like whereas I think this one is just like you had like a high, a couple of pretty good highs, and then like meh.
A lot of meh, but a lot of like super cringy stuff as well, which is difficult to watch. I always hate the Snatch Game because of that. I'm like always dreading it because I was like, it's so horrible to watch for me.
And if it's good,
and the comedy
it's really
challenge
good,
as well.
And if it's bad, it's just...
But it's never consistent. At least one of the queens always brings a cringe. That's always difficult.
If you were there, you bring the cringe for sure.
I'd dominate. I'd probably do you in the Snatch Game. Actually, I'm terrible at any sort of impression. It's true. David, thanks for joining us. And we're on the same page. I don't know who anyone is in the Snatch Game, so don't worry about it. But yeah, on that note, I feel like Ru summed it up purposely. Like the real winners are the Amish who don't have TVs.
Oh my God,
that was accurate.
I'm like accurate. Yeah, I wish I was Amish right now. To be fair. Just like living my drag fantasy in a field somewhere away from that Snatch Game.
Pretty much.
You'd make a good Amish drag queen, Grant.
Do you think so?
Yeah, although I don't know how like games design would go with the whole like no computers and technology and internet thing.
It would be awkward. I just like to do a game in a cornfield. Just like I don't know. I think something
it'd be like a crop circle version of Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And like the people would be the little pellets. I'd make it work. Right, so there's like a little bit of like workroom stuff in between where preparing for looks. Okay, one big thing I want to say as well, it's not that big, but I think especially this season, especially with no mini challenge, there should be like a video thing for what the runway is going to be, because I don't even know what the runway is half the time. I didn't say flower power until the runway started. I feel like we need to know before the queens are preparing what the runway is, so at least we have some sort of context for what's going on. So I feel like, why doesn't Ru just do like a video message or like a new clip or whatever it is, just to announce what the runway is to the queens, and we see a reaction to it?
They didn't even give any time for the fucking runway anyway, so why announce it? If they're gonna have the queens walk it for like a second.
They look so beautiful. They all put so much effort into her looks. It's such a shame that like it wasn't like, it didn't have anything behind it. It was just like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
All I have to do is this show is don't fuck up drag. I said it. I said it on YouTube. I said it.
I'm not sure if it's just me as well though, but do you find that the runway challenges, and partly because they've got such little time, but like I haven't found them that interesting so far. Like, I don't know, some of the ones in like season in All Stars 2 and like some of the other like challenges we've had have provided quite interesting looks. That something where you can really run a bit wilder with it, I think. Whereas like Flower Power just seemed kind of like, you know, like I've got like my magic hat of like loads of things that we've thought of before for like ideas for runways. I'm like, Flower Power, that doesn't go with like, because like season 9, the Snatch Game was matched with the Night of 1,000 Madonnas, and I think it was season 8 as well. And so you had this really good kind of parallel being drawn, because you've got like, okay, you're imitating someone in Snatch Game and you're imitating Madonna, and in some ways, and so you have to have that creativity. And I feel like this was a little bit like, I was like, Flower Power, like, okay.
And also, before the runway even started, Trinity K. Bonet always like won that challenge already. We can't see a better Flower Power look than that already.
Which Flower Power won?
To be fair,
which flower won with Trinity?
Trinity K. Bonet. Remember, she'd lip sync Woman. What was it? She did like the hippie look. Remember?
What a man.
Oh, What a Man. Yeah.
Because just like a Flower Power look, like the hippie sort of look, like that.
Hippie thing was good.
That was Flower Power.
That's what I mean. The kids are taking.
It's just hippie.
That's sort of what it is, though, right? Like I didn't know why. Yeah,
I was surprised. I have to admit, I was surprised not to see that many hippie looks. Actually, you know,
that's what I thought it was going to be.
Trixie's look last week for the wig one. I thought that would have been really good for like Flower Power, like or actually I was expecting Trixie to go full on like Coachella girl, like or something. I mean, I still think what she did was kind of cool, but like I was surprised not to see that.
I didn't think of hippie when I heard that.
I thought hippie straight away. I was surprised they took it also literally with the flowers.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be more interesting if it was like.
It's called Flower Power.
Which is like the whole hippie thing is Flower Power.
Yeah.
It's because you're not English.
I'm not British.
That's what I mean. So don't have a go at us about like being British. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not hippie.
About language. Clearly. Right, but before we go on to the runway, so I felt like I was skipping ahead, which is my fault. I've written a few notes in between, but I don't know if they're going to make sense anyway, to be honest.
Oh, great.
So everyone's welcome. So if Shangela wins, Trixie's fucked. But obviously, we know what happens with that. I think Shangela's fully on it as well. Like, I know it's something we talked about before. It's something we talk about a little bit. Is I do like Shangela seems over everything. Like not over as in like I'm over it, but like on top of everything.
Yeah. She's extra.
No, but like not even about that. But, like I think she knows like what the other queens would be doing, like what she needs to do to win, like what that everything everyone else is saying is calculated.
She's
like
a calculating queen.
I'm impressed. Like, I think she's done it in a really good way. Though. I think everything she says is smart. And it shows she's really thinking everything through, not even just for herself, but for everyone else and how that will impact her.
Yeah.
But like a smart, fun way that's like, she does it in a way that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's in it to win it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And sometimes I can get quite put off by very hungry queens in that sense. The queens who are like, oh my God, got to do this. Like, and you can kind of see like the clocks ticking in their head. But then at the same time, you know, all the other queens are doing it. Just maybe she's the only one saying it.
But still, what she's saying is like more intelligent to me than what most other queens are probably thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's fun as well, just because you don't want every queen to just be like, well, I just think I've done really well, and I hope my people back home are really proud of me. Like you kind of want something a little bit less like like, you know, Miss USA. You kind of want a bit, you know, it's kind of fun TV to have someone like Shangela being like, Actually, I did see something quite fun on Twitter where like it was just like Ben says hi, and Shangela's like Shangela to camera is just like, I can't believe she's trying with all these like greetings things I see behind her and all of her fakeness.
That's me. That's what I'm like.
It's kind of how it comes out, like sometimes from Shangela, like this kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
like not everything's a conspiracy, but at the same time, it's good TV to have Shangela kind of being that queen who reminds everyone it's kind of a competition, because I think it's, you know, at times it's kind of easy to imagine that it's kind of that there's a kind of, I don't know, if Rue were deciding it, for example, you would feel a little bit more of the sense of fairness behind things, you know, maybe. But the fact that queens are going to vote off queens, it suddenly becomes much more like,
You have to play the game. You have no choice. And
Right.
I think Shangela plays it the best out of anyone, potentially, in my opinion. I think she could win because of that.
I think the best game that she's playing is that she is so aware that this is a TV show. Like she just wants to give the best performance, like in general.
And that is her forte, yeah.
Yeah, she's not just thinking like I want to do well in the challenges. She's the amount of screen time she gets for just the comments, I can't remember
The confessionals.
the confessionals.
Yeah.
Because she's giving it her all,
I say-
100% all the time.
And what she's saying makes sense, is what I'm saying. Like, it's just, yeah.
But also, like, she knows that that's good TV, and she wants to give good TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and it's quite interesting because I feel like her and Trixie basically have pretty much the most time from confessional stuff. I mean, Trixie's are normally quite good jokes and like good one-liners. Like, you know, like that's a lot of crying for safe, kind of, for example, or you know, things like that. Whereas I think Shangela's ones are also kind of quite good. So that's kind of why part of me feels like those two are going to go fairly far, just because, I mean, they're great TV. You kind of want them to hang around.
Although that's sort of what I was saying earlier, Trixie for me is not massively fun to watch this season.
Oh, really?
In terms of workroom and confessionals. Yeah.
Then again, you're not the first person I've heard say that, though. That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, sorry for not having an original view.
All right.
No.
We kind of found a reason today, though. Like when are we getting to that yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's wait till the thing. So I'm saying, let's catch up with the chat. So Dave is impressed that I shoehorned the Trinity K by name reference in, and he appreciates that. Thanks. And yeah, also we did go in. I went in on BB a bit early. I think you just missed that. But after the stream's finished, you can go back and watch the video to hear our views on that, and then let us know in the comments if you agree. Who you agree with? We had a bit of a debate, so yeah, let us know. Carl's saying the Survivor game is a Survivor game, and have to think of their careers afterwards as well. Yeah, we can talk about that more about when we get to the lipsticks. So I think that played a part in that potentially.
Yeah.
And Carl's also saying, I think Shangela would have voted Trixie if there was no repercussions after the show. Yeah, which about during lipsticks? I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Runway. RuPaul's. Let's start with Rue's look.
Ah, loved it. Gorgeous. Haven't seen her wearing a dress like that for.
I don't know. I feel like she wore one recently that was similar.
I don't know. It's just the structure up here was very different.
It's cool.
Yeah. It was.
What was it again? Sorry, I'm
iridescent, sort of like green and blue.
No.
Green?
No.
It was iridescent. I wrote that iridescent.
It was very shiny, yes, but it had red, pink, some green. Yeah, it's kind of flower petals, but
it was like flower petals, wasn't it? But the hair and makeup was a little boring, I felt.
You always feel.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. You should change your makeup around.
I try to. You never notice. We get nothing for it. So yeah, you don't remember her look, Bob?
Not at all. I mean, I feel like this is a recurring theme, though. Like, not as an insult to Rue. I just never quite pay attention to what she's wearing, just because it's like.
I think there's a reason for it. I think we were saying last episode that, so season 7, for example, she had loads of interesting, more extreme looks, like the high pony.
That's
and
true.
More like, not fierce as in like fierce, but like intense looks, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whereas she is very much like RuPaul looks, really. I feel like at the moment she's serving us Ru.
Yeah.
You know. So there's less to talk about, I suppose. So I'm actually regret even bringing it up. So Runway, let's go through one by one. I have to write notes down. You saw me writing notes down. Honestly, I thought we were starting. I was writing down like so fast because I had like a second for each queen.
Second fucking
which is
Runway.
Piss annoying. But obviously we've got more time to see them just on stage generally. So yeah, let's start off with Aja's look.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I love when she wears the yellow wig. I love a good yellow wig, and that was gorgeous. And the texture of that dress, beautiful. And the pumps, the yellow pumps that go with the wig. The makeup was actually stunning as well.
Yeah.
I thought she's just like overdoing herself every week for me.
Outdoing, yeah.
Outdoing, yeah.
Her color choices are always like ridiculously on point.
Oh, she's just
And
looks...
yeah, like I said earlier on, like she's, for me, one of the things I most want for Drag Race is being excited to see what a queen's going to wear on the runway. And I'm always excited to see Aja now, and she just is never disappointed. I'm always like blown away by whatever she
I just
wears.
feel like she's really like
Everything's really stunning, like really.
And she's found
impactful.
like she really found her voice visually.
Yeah.
Like she's come to her own.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
What do you think, Bob?
No, I totally agree. I think Aja has been one that I've actually been very excited about for every runway, I think, so far. Like, it's just I mean, normally, like, I mean, I do care about the looks, but like they're not normally the part that I'm as fussed about if someone does it a bit bad, unless it's terrible. But I've just been really amazed by Aja. I think she takes the kind of prompt of flower power and does something quite interesting with it a lot of the times. Or I feel like I wasn't a fan of Kennedy's one this time, and I feel like that's kind of for me the difference with her. It's just like I feel like she kind of takes it to quite a fun place. Like she takes the theme, adds something to it, and then like shifts it to like another little area. It's never quite literal with her.
Yeah, like I suppose this one, like her hair was sort of like the petals of the flower, really, wasn't it? And in a way,
I didn't think of that.
That's how I read it as when I saw it. But yeah, no, you hit it nail on the head for me, Bob. I think that's why I love her so much. Like I love her look so much.
Yeah, she's really impressed me this season with the looks.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what you said as well. And like, I think we saw glimmers of it in season 9, but like her looks are like 20 times better. And I liked what she was trying to serve in season 9, but like now that I've seen it fully realized, like I'm 100% here for it.
You can recognize that that's an Azure look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, 100%. I think like colors are like one of my favorite things. Like, because I did a bit of design stuff, and like I just love like playing around with colors, and like I just love the colors she chooses. Like they always complement each other so well, but also really different. And like other queens doing it, you know, I'm sure other queens are doing it, but not on RuPaul's Drag Race and not in this competition with these challenges.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love it.
Different and fresh, and love it.
Okay, Shangela.
Oh, I love. Yeah, it for me. It was a media reference. Obviously, you hadn't seen the photo, but it was like,
Knew straight away what it was.
Yeah, and I actually, it's kind of like such an obvious choice when you think, oh, like, because that was a big thing, like.
Beyonce's photo you're talking about.
Yeah, like a big fancy dressing thing after that photo was to get to wear all those flowers and blah blah blah. Yeah, I thought it was kind of brilliant.
I did not know about this. I'd never seen this photo before. Do you know the reference, Bob?
I did, yeah, and it took me a second to kind of get it, because actually at first I thought it wasn't that different. At first part of it for me didn't seem that different to actually what she wore as Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I thought it was really clever. And again, like with Aja, I thought it was a funny twist on the theme. Like for me, I mean, it's not necessarily the most boring theme. I think it's one that you can definitely run away with and do some fun stuff with. But it did feel like I was a bit like, okay, flower power, a bit disconnected. Let's see how this goes. And I thought Shangela did that really well, actually, like to bring some kind of humor into it. Because Shangela's funny, but like that's the thing. A lot of her and actually she's been very funny with her outfits this season, which is a little bit of a change from some of hers from before. So I was really happy to see it. Yeah. Also,
I suppose in a way, like it is more flower power in terms of hippie as well, based on what you told me about the look and the references and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's even as someone who didn't get the reference, I thought that was had like a hippie aspect to it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
No, it was. I thought, as you said, it was like a good twist on a sort of a boring theme.
Yeah, that's fair, definitely. And also, I think it was cool for Shangela to go pregnant because it's not something I would expect her to do.
That's true.
Seemed a bit like it's obviously more of a Milk thing to do. For Shangela to do it, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, she looked good pregnant. She should get pregnant.
Is that an offer? Right, who's next? BB. Bob?
I thought that was quite fun to like knowing that everyone else is going to go really, really high color. I thought it was quite fun to completely remove every other color from that.
Mariah and Raven's critiques and reusing them for our show.
Is that what they said? I haven't seen their one of this.
Oh, have you not? Okay, fair. That's good then. All right.
Face.
All right, that's all right then.
Okay, I need to watch it because apparently I agree. But no, I thought that was quite fun. Just to, like everyone else is going to be super, super colorful and just like, and it was very regal, and I think that's what worked really in her favor as well. I mean, she's very regal as a person anyway, but she kind of carried that in quite, you know, there was a bit more of a story behind it, I think. So if you just said to me she's just going to wear black roses, I would have been a bit like, oh, but she wore the outfit in a very clever way, I think.
She always does. She always does.
Yeah.
What do you think, sis?
I think like knowing that everyone's gonna wear like really colorful things. Joking.
Yeah.
No, I loved it. Yeah, and I agree, and I agree with you and with Mariah and with Raven. It was it was a clever choice and beautiful dress. It's just a beautiful dress. I would wear that.
It was.
shit out
I
of
think that
dress.
sums it up well. I think it was a beautiful dress, and she looks beautiful, but
Beautiful?
beautiful. But for me,
But for me,
I think as Bob was saying, I was thinking like maybe it just wasn't quite enough for me. Maybe like I was having Dracula flashbacks where everything was just taken to an extreme. I loved it. Like maybe she'd done like more of a gothic style makeup, maybe, or like just taking the theme to another level. Like it was just obviously it's potentially bland because it's mono. You know, there's no color in it. I think it needed something else for me to make it great. Like for me, it was less than most of the other queens' dresses.
Her aesthetic. I know what you mean. It would have looked really cool with like a black lipstick and like something more dramatic on the face as well, on the hair maybe. But it's just not her aesthetic. She just wanted to look glam and pretty and like.
And she did.
like a
She definitely
dark flower.
gave me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say about her dark flower?
I want to lick her down.
You're always saying that. Yeah. Okay. So that's potentially a controversial view from both of us there.
Oh,
yeah. Kennedy. So Bob, I feel like you got something to say on this one.
I mean, I still think it looked pretty. For me, like the flowers that were on there looked a little bit cheap, and I think especially when you got to like the tail of the dress, like just that like bottom rim. No, what do you call the end of the dress? What's the seam? Like kind of seam. There we go. So once you got to that seam, there were all these like it looked like she'd just for me it looked a little bit like she'd bought some kind of decorations of like flowers and then like tacked it on because like and I really didn't like what was happening, like this little portion here. I kind of felt like because there's this really what was quite nice about the dress, you know, with the nice parts kind of the dress came to about here, and then there's like a little kind of almost tank top kind of thing. I thought I saw, and I was like, for me, like it didn't give me much. But I think in patches of the dress, the color contrast between that really dark. Well, between that like that black and the yellow of the petals was gorgeous, and I liked the way it snaked up. But then I also just again it felt quite literal. I did like the eye makeup. That said, I thought that was kind of fun to incorporate it up to the head. But yeah, I don't know.
The chat's agreeing with you, Bob, on the whole. I mean, ultimately, it's a shame for Kennedy that it was ultimately like pitted against BB's dress. They were both very similar in terms of the way they were structured and like what they were going for.
Right, with the flowers kind of rising up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And obviously, BB's was far better executed. But for me, like I said, it's the extra things that elevate it. And I really did love her makeup. And she, in fact, she wore like a lighter contact on the one eye with the flower. It just made it really pop. And I just thought that was great. Like it shows so much, like it's a creativity that like really resonates with me personally. So like I said, most streams, like it's obviously personal opinion and different things. We'll all like different things. But so I agree that like aspects of the dress did look a bit cheap, a bit arts and crafty, or a bit Poundland, as David's saying. But like the theme of it generally, like the contrast and what she did with the makeup, to me, I really enjoyed it. Like it was fun. Like when I initially saw it, I was wowed. But obviously, the more time I spent looking at it, I had more problems with it. But I enjoyed it.
The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and the makeup and stuff. And then I started noticing things, and that's when like I would prefer different kind of flowers. Definitely, it looked a bit cheap. I didn't like the she had the like a necklace with more flowers, and it kind of like closed everything there, and it just didn't flow with the flow of the dress. And then there's the hair with the flowers as well. And then obviously the flower makeup is a good idea, but it was just so much. And I would prefer that she had worn lashes on that eye as well. To me, it just looked like.
I liked that personally.
I get the idea, but I think it would just look prettier with lashes on both eyes. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think she could have. She gave good head, but I think maybe she did something different with the bodies. Like maybe she had like big yellow petals, like on like the neckline of the dress or something. Then maybe had the dress a lot plainer, so like maybe a single color, but with some sort of other point of interest, like pattern work or embroidery or something like that, maybe. Or
So it's
I don't know.
It's a toot or is it a boot?
It's a toot from me. Like I really liked it
Okay, fair enough.
personally,
We can't really
but
use
I
that.
get there's issues for sure. I'm not saying it was perfectly executed because it definitely wasn't. This is gonna be an interesting one. You go first for Chi Chi.
Chi-Chi, I didn't really like it.
I was quite shocked to hear you mention that.
I thought ugly shoes, cheap shoes.
Didn't notice the
First
shoes.
of all, just didn't look that expensive. It just didn't look that expensive. I'm not a big fan of that kind of hairstyle, even though like I'm not mad at it. The face looks beautiful as always. It's just it just didn't look elevated enough. It was a short skirt with like ugly shoes and no, not
So you really didn't like it, like a full boot for you?
full boot.
Oh, I'm surprised by that. What do you think, Bob?
I would have like given it a shoot. Like I loved it.
Same, absolutely loved it. I thought she
Yeah.
looked stunning. Thought she was really beautiful in it.
I really liked the way like the hair kind of framed her face, and I thought it was kind of nice because for me it made quite an interesting shape. Like the sort of transition basically from her hair into the outfit was kind of
Yeah.
created for me quite a gorgeous shape that I really kind of found myself drawn to. For me, it was one of my favorites from the night.
Totally, same here, 100%. I agree with what Carl just said though. Like he said it's a bit simple compared to the others, which is definitely true. I noticed that straight away. But like to me, like she's going for this like angelic sort of look, and angelic looks are going to be quite simple if they're pulled off well.
How is she angelic with her boobs out?
That's what I mean. It's like those naked paintings you see on my ceiling, for example.
Oh, sorry.
Like I don't know. Like it was just like I don't know. Like do you see what I'm saying? Do you agree, Bob?
No, I agree. I think it was like for me, I kind of felt like I knew the woman who was in that who was from that look, but I just thought for
She's
me
a
it was
prostitute.
quite
Like a
she's very-
sexy Mary Magdalene prostitute.
yeah, you know.
Well,
And so I really loved it, and for me, like at first I did kind of want the dress a little bit longer, but then actually I was like, no, I'm kind of okay with it.
I feel like you guys don't know fashion.
I mean,
feel like we
that's
do.
very true about me. Yeah.
I feel like you haven't seen us properly.
I feel like you guys don't know anything.
Oh my god, guys! Let's know in the comments down below. Who knows
I'm-
fashion better?
I'm not going to
Us or
pretend to be
Sis?
scandalized by that because that's a good observation on my. I feel
No,
like
don't stand for that. I'm gonna, you're the fifth most fashionable person I know. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise.
you know, 5
Um,
people.
Yeah, and most of the family members who are dead.
Oh.
David's going in on this chat. He's
Ooh.
saying plastic hair on plastic flowers for Gigi.
Thank you.
So what's he saying? Something at the altar, hoeing at the altar. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so like that was a divisive look. Okay, I'm gonna go first for Trixie's look because like it was one of my favorite looks of all time. I absolutely loved it. It was like full.
I wonder why.
It was like full Kesha. But
Yes.
like if Kesha was like executed her looks better and like in an extreme way and was beautiful. Like her makeup was
100%.
This came for Kesha so vicious.
because Kesha's a bit sloppy. She's quite hippie. Like she's chill. She doesn't care too much about her. Like she's got cool looks, but it's not like polished necessarily. But from what I've seen, but Trixie was just like like stunning, flawless, beautiful. She like Linda Evangelista and Kesha combined.
You stole those sides.
She definitely stoned those ties, 100%. But like the glittery makeup under the eye and like it was just so beautiful. I want it on a poster. That's everything I have to say.
I don't think I have to add anything there. I mean, you've
Do you agree? Do you think I
no.
went in too hard?
No, I liked it. I do have some criticism.
Oh, first of all, can I say Carl's criticism? He's saying like very Harajuku, which is like the first thing I thought. But like a lot of the Harajuku style looks, even Violet's one, in my opinion, is done done in very tacky ways. But like it was like Trixie elevated the Harajuku style fashion to something that was like way cooler, in my opinion. Like not tacky.
I thought it was very sort of Harajuku or whatever it is. But obviously I'm in touch with the stuff. No, but I've seen those photos of like that sort of Japanese style, and I think it was very much like that. But I thought without that, because she was wearing a top, a skirt, and a cardigan with like the embellishments and stuff. So the cape was beautiful. Top, ugly. Skirt, ugly. If you look at it, I'm sorry, but if you took the cape off, the look would be ugly. Just saying.
I disagree.
I think it needed a better top and a better skirt, but the rest of it saved the ensemble.
I just had a realization. I think one of the reasons I loved it so much is because to me it's sort of like how Pearl would like approach that sort of look. Like it was a very like Pearl-esque look, and we all know like Pearl's like my ultimate like drag fashion idol. I think that's potentially why, and it's Trixie just executed in such a flawless way. IMO. But go on, Bob. What were you saying?
No, I agree. I really liked it. I think when I first saw it, I was a bit kind of like, I actually wasn't expecting to like it that much, just because for me, it just felt, because I was kind of just worried that it would just be a bit of a carbon copy of something she's worn before with just like an extra layer. And then actually, the more I got to look at it, the more I was like, no, that's lovely. Like the eye makeup, as you said, I adored that. And I just thought it was quite a fun kind of way, because she actually played it in quite, I mean, obviously she spent a lot of time in that outfit crying or being close to crying, so which actually kind of weirdly worked with the outfit as well. Not like you want to wear an outfit to cry in, but I mean, yeah,
all my outfits. Sorry, go on.
No, but I actually thought it kind of, there's something actually a bit more vulnerable to that look than what we often see Trixie in, and for me that's actually what I quite enjoyed about it.
It is the best she's ever looked, in my opinion, easily by a mile. Just like, I guess it's like the realization, like, it still had like the harsh makeup and the sort of makeup traits, but it just all worked so well together. Just loved it.
I thought it was a great look. I'm just saying, she didn't spend that much on the top of the skirt.
Okay. Well, Trixie, I put Sis's Twitter link and Instagram link in the bio, so feel free to come for her.
She knows it.
We'll see. When she gives you a direct DM, when she slides into your DM.
Slid into my DM.
Slip in. Ooh, that's even worse. Right, I just want to say, I'll start off this one by a really quick note. Ben, I thought it was absolutely horrific. I thought it was terrible.
Oh, I didn't like it.
Interesting, because we just watched Fashion Photo Review, and they both gave it a shoot. They're both in love with it. I was shocked. Like, I tried not to react. So I want to hear what Yaz thinks of it.
I thought the bottom of the dress was very nice. I thought it was creative. I thought it was different. Everything else kind of bored me. It was the same silhouette I've seen Ben wear 1,000 times. Same hair. Same placement of the thing on the hair. Like, same shoulder detail. Like, he's done that a lot.
I think the colours were terrible. I think it looked cheap. I think it looked really costumey in a bad way. Like, I think the padding was too much. Like, that was uneven to me. Just like, I just really, really disliked it a lot, personally.
I mean, I'm not that mad at it. I was bored by it.
But it's personal taste, I guess. Bob, what you said?
Yeah, I'm probably not as strongly, but I was a bit bored by it. I mean, I normally love Ben, as you know. Like, Ben is a queen. From season 6 onwards, I just adored her. And I just found it a bit boring. I think the same thing. I think maybe it was a high expectation on my part, because I kind of thought a challenge like this, like Ben would go into something really clever. I was expecting to see like Ben as a flower, like, the body being like a stem and like this gorgeous kind of, I was expecting something a bit more conceptual in that sense, or like a bit more tongue in cheek. Whereas for me, I was just like, oh, it's a fairly standard, nice dress that has something that could be seen as flowery. But like for me, it was kind of, for me, it felt like a dress she might have had for another challenge that was made a bit more flowery, as opposed to this has been created with solely in mind with the idea of having something quite flowery. And I was a bit bored by it, which is one of the first times it's happened to me, being really bored by Ben. So I was a bit like, oh no, but yeah.
Okay. David's saying, again, I guess this is divisive, because I mean, obviously I don't agree with Mariah and Raven on this one, but like David agrees with him, saying it's the best look Ben's had this season, for example. So I guess, like I said earlier, it's just like a personal taste thing. And just so I don't know. I guess again, we didn't really see critique for it, did we? Didn't really see critique for a lot this episode.
Right away.
Okay, he's continuing saying, I love the way it made her look so glamorous. It was a real transformation of a man into a woman. I mean, you're entitled to your view, I guess. So
Did she
I
transform?
feel like I need to
Did she
relook at
transform?
it because
Say again?
I feel like I need to look at it again because I mean when I first saw it, it didn't really wow me much, and I didn't really perhaps as a result pay much attention to the details. But I think maybe, but like if people are having such a strong positive reaction to it, maybe I feel like I maybe need to have a look at it again and see if there's anything that like.
No,
might
I
take-
had a proper look at it. There's nothing.
Oh,
Okay.
Nothing.
well, the bottom of the dress is very nice, I thought.
Mm.
But apart from that, meh.
Okay. Right, so that's the looks done, everyone. Well done. Give yourself a high five.
Yay!
Runway finished super early. There's going to be a lot of drama, I wrote, although there wasn't really, I guess. Winners were announced super quick, as you pointed out, like literally instantly.
Like immediately, like
There's no deliberations, like, yeah, you guys won.
well done again.
But then I've written down the counter to that would be, I suppose it is ridiculously obvious. Like, no one else even did okay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, Ben was
Yeah.
the only one who did very well. I feel like Shanja did good, and everyone else did, like, subpar, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I feel like it would have been pointless, like, trying to create drama out of that when it just was obviously zero drama.
That is true.
So, sort of fair enough in a way.
Will was like, yeah, we know.
We talked about the BB having a free pass thing. I put Chi-Chi's so sweet, what a gem.
Yeah.
Oh, that was when the deliberation. Sorry, this is during the deliberations. Yeah, I just think she's like really sweet. Like I think it takes balls to be like, send me home. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
and she in such a
This is the
sweet
fair
way, but
thing,
she seemed like
yeah.
really like nice about it. She was like, understand. Like, I've had a great time. I'm still feeling my oats. Like,
Yeah, if I stay, I stay. But yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of what I did
yeah.
and do what's fair.
Just continued the theme of me loving Chi-Chi,
Yeah.
wanting to give her a cuddle at all times.
Absolutely, and that's the thing because I was super excited about seeing her in All Stars because I love her, and then I was like, oh, she's not really doing that well. But then it's amazing because that hasn't changed my opinion of her. Like, I was like,
all.
Yeah.
she was in the bottom 4 for 4 weeks in a row on All Stars, and I still have like the same opinion, if not a higher opinion of her than I did before, which speaks
Totally.
volumes for how lovely she is, really, and how charming
It
she is.
really does.
Totally agree. Love that girl. Oh, okay. This is a thing we can continue. This is a continuing theme for me every week. So I'm sorry everyone if you're getting bored of it. But I wrote down Ben's talking bullshit. That was why, because I feel like I can't remember exactly why I wrote this down. But bearing in mind, like thinking I had an idea of what Ben was gonna do for the elimination. But he said, like, he was going through like why it was such a difficult decision, and he said Chi-Chi brings a can-do attitude that says a lot. I'm like, you're trying to. I thought he was going to try. Oh, that's why I thought he was going to try and justify keeping her in like a way that didn't make him sound super shady. Because in terms of the competition, it would have made more sense for him to get rid of Kennedy or Trixie. So I thought at this point Ben was gonna try and justify his decision for saving Chi-Chi. But I'm like,
you thought he was a cunt.
but it still seems like a stupid thing to say because obviously, like, Chi-Chi's even saying herself, like, I need to go home.
He was just hamming it up for the cameras.
I know. It just still, this is what I've been saying all along. It's just like something a bit disingenuous to me. So like you're just saying things to try and appear super, super nice. Whereas, like, for example, someone like Chi-Chi, like, she just oozes niceness. Whereas I feel like Ben feels like he should say things to appear super nice.
But I don't think he was doing at that point. He was doing the not confessional. This is like the interview on the camera, and like they want you to kind of like show conflict, like internal conflict, and that's what
Maybe.
he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
I
a
totally
difficult
agree.
decision because of this and this and this.
Maybe.
But obviously he's not gonna say. But obviously I'm gonna choose Chi-Chi.
Right.
Like
I completely agree for that same reason because I think it would be in that kind of situation you can't be like, well, it's obviously going to be Chi-Chi, but like you can't, you have to kind of give some kind of idea of intrigue as well of like, oh, it could be one of these three, because Shangela basically did the same. I mean, she kind of said like, it's a tough decision, like, do I do this, do I I love Kennedy, I know she's got more to bring, but she felt that like she didn't. I mean, I feel like all of them kind of pussyfooted around a little bit.
But I mean, but it's just wrong. I mean, but she didn't bring a can-do attitude. She brought like a defeated attitude to the challenges.
she didn't.
Chi-Chi, yeah, she did.
Well,
She's
she
like,
had to say something.
that's what. Okay, maybe again. Like, I know I've been too harsh on Ben. I do think he's very talented and all this, but
Blah 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 blah. I hate him.
I just think there's something disingenuous about him. And Heather on the last stream agreed with me. A couple of other people I've spoken to have. I'm not saying it's quite a Valentina situation, but I'm just saying I don't think all is what it seems with her. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's not what it seems
That's
with
all I'm
any of
saying.
us.
It's also that's sort of true, I guess.
I'm sorry, Sunday guys. I'm like in full like cuddle mode.
We're almost at the end. We're almost at the end. We both just said right when they got changed for the looks for that's still a joke. They got changed for the looks for the lip sync. You said is that RuPaul's PA about Shangela? What was that?
I quite liked that. I mean, Shangela's always been quite funny, but I think what's really it's taken me a little time, but like what's kind of made me warm to her like a bit more. I mean, because I do really like her now, but I think I was in kind of a middle ground for a while. And what's kind of made me like her a bit more is that she's now less afraid to kind of look a little bit silly. Whereas I feel like before, I mean, I say that she had the corn look, but like I feel like she's quite happy to poke fun at herself.
She has something to prove before, right? She doesn't have anything to prove anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. And I think so as a result, when that kind of started off, I was a bit like, oh, okay, like this is quite fun. In fact, actually, like I was kind of quite excited by that because I'm like, oh, there's a story happening in this lip sync. Like, you know, there's a character being made here that we're meant to.
Yeah. It made a lot more sense with the song, but I just thought like initially, just like the first second we saw the look, we saw her walk into lip syncs in that look, and we're just like, what is going on? But I love it. Like the glasses, like where did she get those glasses from? Like, what is she going to be doing with every lip sync? But yeah, I think so. Yeah, should we talk about the actual lip sync?
Sure.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought like the way Shangela approached it with like the evolution of a character, of becoming like really tight laced, like writing in a diary, like. How the song starts, where it's quite innocent, or whatever. She's like writing in a diary, looking like all sweet and innocent, and then like slowly like
descending into
more. Exactly, like the props, like the undressing. I just thought she nailed it, and like for me, it's a stark contrast to Ben's performance. Again, this sounds like it's very much personal preference. I think Ben did well, as he always does, but I feel like he took it very literally. Like he was acting out every line of the song as it sort of happened, and for me, like very camp, and like for me. It's not really my sort of style. I much preferred Shanji's interpretation of the song and like the story, the journey she took me on.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my review of the lip sync.
I thought they both did pretty well, but Shanji did a little bit better, I thought. Yeah.
Carl's saying he thinks Ben would have won, but I think definitely I think easily Shangela won for me.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was surprised that they were both given the win. Because I thought like, oh, it's Shangela's. Like, because I love Ben, but I was kind of watching, kind of being like, I mean, I like it. It's not bad by any means, but I kind of felt like Shangela just was like that little notch ahead. And so I was kind of surprised when it was when they both won. I was like, oh, like
well, they did it for the drama with Trixie.
Yeah.
Like the producers know what they're doing, and that's the only, in my opinion, that's the only reason it was a tie. I don't think it was a tie because they were on the same plane in terms of their performances.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys let us know in the comments if you disagree with that. My heart did fully stop when I thought Trixie was definitely going home at that point. And I only got another note to say, which was like when Chi-Chi's watching the video, the Handmaid's video. She was having so much fun. Like she was proper beaming when she's watching it. She's having such a good time, even though it's like this scary themed video, but it's all ominous. Like Chi-Chi's just like literally like grinning from ear to ear. Like, I love her so much.
It was super cute. But I mean, not to kind of nitpick, but like, do you feel like for the first couple of episodes when they had Chad and Alaska in the background, I wasn't quite sure if it was like on a green screen or in the same room, and I feel like for the last 2 episodes it's been kind of super obvious for me that it's been on a green screen, just because of like proportions and like when people turn, there are like sometimes like little bits that seem to blur a little bit. And
I don't think it's green screen. I just assume they filmed it like have the camera in the same static position and they filmed them doing the entrance and then the Queen's reaction to the video separately.
Oh, maybe that, yeah. But either way, like, I don't know. It kind of ruined the illusion a little bit for me. Not like I really thought that they were all doing that in the same room, but I mean, and I have to admit, I do like the kind of the tension that comes from them, like each episode, like Chad and Alaska getting that little bit closer. So I mean, I think so, because they came just to the bottom of the stairs the first time, and then they were a little bit closer, and then they kind of the third one, I think they moved a little bit, and then like this one, they were really close to where Chi-Chi was. I'm guessing in that sense that might mean that anything with Chad and Alaska or the returning queens might start happening from next week. I feel
It's got to be next week. Like I think
gotta be
this is
next
longer
week.
in All Stars 2, right? I feel like it happened by now in All Stars 2.
Maybe
It's
not. I
episode
think it's about
5
the
next.
same. Yeah, I think it's about the same. I think it's gonna be next episode.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm excited.
6.
who do
Yeah.
you think would come back?
That's a really tricky question, actually. You guys go first. Okay, Bob, you go, as you asked.
I kind of feel like for drama's sake, they might try and bring Morgan. But then also
Agreed.
she's been away a long
I think she-
time.
I think she would give enough drama during the actual episode itself. I don't think she'd need to come back
That's true.
permanently.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I now can't look at her without like hearing in my head like, "Why you mad though? Why you mad though?" And like it really like it's like it really plays with me in my head. Just like it's just yeah.
We all
So
need to
we'll
move
see.
on from that.
But I think you're
ASAP.
right. I think you're right. Like
Okay.
drama-wise in the episode, it makes. But then, I mean, if who would come back? Like, because in terms of the 4 who have gone,
Who
unless
went
there's someone
episode 3? I
else.
can't remember. Who went last?
So
episode 4 last?
Milk went
Milk.
before, yeah. So we've
Milk,
got like
yeah.
Morgan,
I think Milk
Morgan,
potentially
Thorgy,
has-
Milk, and now Chi-Chi. And like, I mean, I don't know who of those would come back, or would they necessarily come back, or would they just wreak havoc?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anyone who deserves a place in the competition. I don't think anyone has gone who shouldn't have gone.
Right.
Carl's saying he doesn't think Morgan should have gone so early. He would like to see more from Morgan, I guess. But I personally, yeah, I'm not mad at anyone who's got any decisions that have been made so far, sort of thing. But I think in terms of potential for someone to come back, I think Milk, if there's any chance at all, she's pulled her finger out. I think she has the most potential to make it back on the show. But based on her attitude, it's unlikely.
No.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it would be Morgan just for the sheer fact that she's probably the most exciting of those 4 in terms of like TV drama, and also because she's probably the one for whom you could probably make the biggest case of gone too soon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas with the others, like you said, the decisions have felt pretty like on the head. Like they've been pretty on the head with it. On the nose, whatever the phrase is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my hopes they bring Forgy back, which I feel like is potentially a controversial opinion. But that would be good. I mean, again, like I'm really excited for the drama between Forgy and Chandler. Again, like we'll work through that in one episode. We don't need her there long term for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Forgy's just frustrating to watch. Like I know Milk is as well, but like it's quite funny that like there's like drama to talk about and stuff. Whereas Forgy's just quite like been quite depressing to watch this season. Like
Yeah, it's just irritating.
yeah, but not in a fun way. I feel like Milk's irritating in a bit of a like impassioning way, sort of thing.
Not really, not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Morgan.
I say, yeah, what I said, I think like basically, like, I feel like everyone who's gone I'm fine with him going.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting if no one comes back.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think if for example, someone like Shangela or Trixie had been sent home early on, you pretty much would know by now that they would be coming back because they couldn't not.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, like with Alyssa and Tatiana, that made sense. Like those are both queens who you wouldn't be too surprised to see them in the top 3 or top 4, and like that made sense them coming back. Whereas like, with this, I'm like, like I feel like if Morgan came back, she'd go the week after. Like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anything else to say about the episode, the events of the episode, team?
No, I think it's time for CUNT.
Yeah, I think it's time for our CUNTs. You willing to whip yours out, Bob?
CUNT.
Always. So charisma, I feel like I don't think it can go to anyone apart from Chi-Chi. Just because like she's just such a sweetheart. Like I would definitely give her the charisma. Yeah.
Totally agree, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like last time we gave it to her potentially.
Oh.
So yeah, like she always wins my charisma award. Like everyone else I say from now on has just come second to Chi-Chi. Just assume
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Please. Okay, uniqueness.
Bob?
Okay, Bob.
Aja. Because I thought it was quite an interesting choice of character, and the look I thought was probably most interesting. So I'd give her the uniqueness for that.
For me, it's definitely Trixie, because I feel like she took it very like Harajuku, and it wasn't. I think one of the fashion reviews people said it like it wasn't like the most obviously flower themed.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't assume that was necessarily the primary theme that she was going for, but I just saw the outfit by itself. I just think compared to the other queens, her outfit and her look generally just really stood out. For again, like quite a boring themed runway that wasn't prominently featured. To me, she just shone, and because of that, I think that's quite a unique thing to be able to do.
I see Aja.
Okay.
So I think it was a unique sort of person to choose as well, and it was a great look on the runway that was not expected, like with the pops of yellow and things.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I would have given it to her if not. Guys, whip out your CUNTs in the chat as well, and we'll read it out.
Yes.
Yeah, Omar, I think we both have at least, so we'll talk about it in a second. Nerve.
Nerve.
Mm.
Got the nerve.
Maybe I'm going to go with Shangela on the sense of nerve of just that kind of like Nancy
I was
Drew.
gonna say Shangela, he's stealing all my answers.
There we go.
So wait, why are you saying Shangela, guys?
Kind of the Nancy Drew. So I'm taking nerve in this sense to be the kind of like the nerve to just be like blah blah blah. You know, like to kind of have that fight with.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
An N for Nancy Drew as well.
Okay. Mine. So you agree with Bob?
Yes.
Okay, mine's potentially controversial, and again, like I know I'm going too hard sometimes, but it's
Ben.
slightly more entertaining. What are you saying?
Ben.
No. I'm actually going to say BB for like the nerve isn't like the nerve of her to like lose it in the challenge where she like had to go at someone behind her. I just thought that was a bit out of order.
I think she didn't have it go.
Oh,
She
no.
was a character.
No, I didn't read it as that. I read it as like her losing as a chance to try and like take out another queen or something. I don't know. Like it just felt just uncomfortable for me and like unnecessary.
Were you uncomfortable? Were you?
I was uncomfortable.
Okay.
Didn't know where to look. But it's I understand like it's a bit of an overreaction, playing up a little bit, for the cameras. Talon, I'm definitely giving to you for that revelation you made earlier that I've already forgotten about.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I think I deserve it. I'll give my. Well, I won't say me because.
You want to say you? Give it to yourself. Come on, girl.
I don't know. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Ben. That was a good snatch.
Tight snatch.
The tight snatch.
Mm-hmm.
What you saying, Bob?
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're talking drag queens, I would give it to Ben. But if we're talking everybody, of course, it would be for you. So.
Oh, thank you.
Wait,
guys.
you say this isn't a drag queen because I feel like you're going to take that personally.
No, I won't.
I was tempted to make a joke, but I was like, I don't know you well enough to make that joke. I wasn't sure, like.
What wants to come for you?
How dare you? I'm a female biological woman of the.
Do you feel very attacked right now?
You do. You're having a Laganja moment. Okay, Carl's CUNT comprises of C for Chi-Chi, very strong choice. U for Aja, yep, crowd favorite. N for Trixie, to do RuPaul in front of RuPaul. That's what I was going to say if I didn't choose it for uniqueness. And T for Ben, yeah, that's a strong CUNT, my friend. And Omar's saying, if Trixie doesn't win next episode, she deserves to go home, period.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I was thinking I wouldn't be like mad at anyone for sending Trixie home this episode, to be honest.
No.
Like, I'm happy she's still in potentially, although she could just do more. I feel like every episode she's doing more and more damage to her reputation.
Really?
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame. Like, I mean, this is a big blow to her reputation. She's like one of her strongest things is like her RuPaul. Like one of the things is like her strongest thing she's known for like the Oh Honey thing, her RuPaul impressions. Like this is one of the things that she just like sort of annihilated it potentially.
Right.
She did well last episode though. She was funny.
She did.
When Milk was in like interrupting her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. But she still didn't shine.
I kind of felt the same because I was kind of thinking if she doesn't do well at Snatch Game, she's in trouble. And she didn't do well in Snatch Game. So I mean, yeah, because she was safe the first 2 weeks, and then she had that top 3, but could have very easily been a top 2. And for someone with such a big following who was really seen as one of the favorites, or could still be, one of the favorites, I was quite surprised that we haven't seen as many golden moments from her. Exactly. But I think, yeah, I absolutely agree. I feel like she's going to win the next challenge, at least for her narrative arc, because it's this whole like comeback, like she was down at the bottom and then here she is now. But then if she doesn't have that, she's out, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So Omar's asking if we've watched 'Handmaid's Tale. Have you watched it, Bob?
I've read the book. I've not seen the TV adaptation.
Okay, but so we've all like experienced the story. So I suppose it's something we've not talked about, I think, since the first episode. Do anyone have any ideas about what the twist how the twist relates to *Handmaid's Tale*?
I'm not sure actually. I've been thinking about it, but I'm not sure.
No, I really can't like think of what it would be at all, to be honest.
Me neither.
I mean, obviously, like I guess the main part of that story is that like everyone's very segregated, and people should stay within the bounds of their place in society, and the place is obviously like totalitarian, like extreme hierarchical, patriarchal society. I don't know. I just can't link any of the themes to.
I think yours is just a look thing, maybe.
No, it wasn't. It's gonna. I like the video and everything. Like it's a strong theme for a reason.
There's the whole blessed be at the beginning of all of the little videos. So yeah, we shall see.
Right, Omar's maybe got some inside tea. Like if it's just a theory, then like definitely spill. But if like if you do know something, if one of the queens has said something and you know what's gonna happen, then like no spoilers. If you've got theories, we're happy to hear theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean obviously, Carl's already talked about the mole theory. That's a common theory, but again, that's not very. I don't see how it links to Handmaid's Tale. This whole mole theory that's going around.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to connect, but
yeah.
I guess we'll be cracked.
Yeah, so potentially next episode we'll find out, I guess, or if not, we'll have another discussion about it. The end of next stream. But if you guys have any ideas in the comments of what it could be, any theories, and let us know, and we'll chat about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we're done now.
Oh, thank God.
That's the spirit. You love this, don't you? Real highlight of your week.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah, so guys, if you only came in towards the end of last 1 minute, come on, towards the end of the stream, and you haven't been able to give your thoughts, let us know in the comments. We'll discuss it down there. If you fancy it, subscribe, join us next week if it's something you feel like would benefit your life in any way.
If you fancy me, slid into my DM.
Yeah, me too. Both very desperate. Yep. So thanks everyone for watching.
Bob.
Hello. Bye-bye. Oh, what?
Sorry, what?
No. God, I'm not
okay,
even
actually, that's the
ready for
point. This week, the outro is brought to you by Floppy Bob.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for purchasing Grant's, whatever. This is why I'd be shit at Snatch Game. Well, yes, it has been a pleasure being floppy in front of all of you. And I look forward to flopping around with you yet again.
Forevermore.
Forevermore. That was beautiful. You're
forever and for always. Yeah. Thank you. Which means I get to go home every time. Well, I'm kind of constantly at threat of being axed by one of you two. Who just
exactly,
literally,
100%.
Yeah.
Your life is in danger.
I feel like I'm the Michelle Visage and you're the Santino Rice. And on that note, love you everyone. See you soon. Bye. Come back next week. Bye.
Bye.